Everyone talks about stoicism like it's a trend now. Stay calm, don't react, don't care too much. But when I went back to the original source, I saw something different. I read Marcus Aurelius' Meditations and it didn't feel like philosophy the way people describe it online. It felt like someone trying to keep his mind stable in the middle of pressure. So in this video, I want to share what I learned from reading it because a lot of it surprised me more than I expected. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome. That already changes how you read Meditations. He deals with political pressure, wars, responsibility over an empire, and constant uncertainty. In the middle of that, he was journaling. Yes, he wrote for himself. These were private notes. That's why meditation is not a polished philosophy book. It is more like mental reminders written in real time, like something trying to stay grounded while everything around moves. That context changes the way you read everything he says. One of the first things I took from the book is how strict he is about control. He separates what depends on you from what doesn't. Reading that made me see how much energy I used to spend on things outside my control. Things like other people's reactions, outcomes, timing, or situations already set in motion. Marcus Aurelius doesn't present this as theory. It feels like something he repeats to himself because the mind forgets it. What I learned is that a lot of stress comes from fighting something that is already real. There is a line in Meditations where he talks about how the mind shapes experience. What I took from that is very simple. Two people can go through the same situation and live with different meanings, not because reality changes, but because interpretation changes. I noticed that in myself while reading it. A lot of what I called problems were interpretations I attached to events. Marcus Aurelius returns to this idea in different ways. The more I read, the more I saw how suffering is added after the event, not inside it. Another thing I learned is how much mental energy goes into scenarios that never happen. He warns himself not to stay in the future or in worst case thinking. Reading that made me see how anxiety comes from prediction or reality. The mind creates situations, reacts to them, then treats that reaction as something real. What I took from Marcus Aurelius is that a lot of that stress ends when you return to what is in front of you instead of what might happen. He has a grounded view of people in Meditations. I had to rethink this while reading it. He doesn't expect people to act in ideal ways. He sees human behavior as shaped by nature, emotion, and limitation. What I learned is that frustration often comes from expecting people to act differently from how they are, not in a cynical way, but in a realistic way. When that expectation drops, a lot of reactions disappear. You stop taking things personally, not because you stop caring, but because you stop expecting something else. There are moments in Meditations where Marcus Aurelius reminds himself how short life is. What I took from that is perspective, not fear. When you see time as limited, priorities shift. Things feel less permanent. Problems feels less fixed. Delay feels heavier. It changes how you treat decisions and action. After reading Meditations, what I came away with is that Stoicism is not about suppressing emotion or ignoring life. It is about seeing how quickly the mind adds extra weight to reality. Marcus Aurelius was not someone who had everything figured out. He was someone trying to stay clear while everything around him moved. That is why it still feels relevant today. Now, if you like this video, consider subscribing to the channel. It is the best way you can support me because, unlike Marcus Aurelius, I don't control the algorithm. And that is the one thing neither of us figured out.